All right, guys. So I got a question. How do we know that Allah is just? Allah tells us that He's just, but how can we know for sure?
What if I start with the fact that there is injustice in the world, but Allah say He's just? But Allah say He's just.
How? So how do we correlate those two things?
Can we go deeper by affirming that or believing that day of resurrection exists for a reason?
Exactly. So, though everything in this world is not fair, we have wars, we have people killing other people, we have people taking other people's rights. Even saying a bad word to someone else, even an animal attacking another animal, we might look at that and be like, that's not fair, that's not just. Where is the justice in that, right? So that's why we have to have a day of judgment. And Allah tells us on this day of judgment, everything will come to justice. And Allah describes about this in Surah Mursalat, where He says, He's describing about the day of judgment, هَذَا يَوْمُ الْفَصْلِ. This is the day of decision, this is the day of judgment. جَمَعْنَاكُمْ وَالْأَوَّلِينَ. For the people that were in the past and the people that were also in the present. For everyone, this is a day where no one is going to be able to escape from His decree. فَإِنْ كَانَ لَكُمْ كَيْدٌ فَكِيدُونَ. So if you want to make a plan, if you want to make a plot, if you want to try to go against Allah's judgment, like Israel, like those people that are oppressing people in this world, like those people that they think they can take away money, or they can spread injustice. Basically, Allah is basically sending them a challenge. Try and see what's going to happen. Allah is affirming His power and His might. فَإِنْ كَانَ لَكُمْ كَيْدٌ فَكِيدُونَ وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. Woe to those people that will regret on that day. They think that their actions have no consequences. But what about you guys? Do you think, what are some things that in this world people take very little, very lightly, but rather they can have big consequences on the day of judgment?
In my previous halaqah session, we were discussing about, because I'm working currently, so my teacher, she mentioned about basically looking at your phone or scrolling over your social media during your work office can be considered stealing as well, because you're supposed to do your work diligently, cognizantly during your office hour and get whatever you need to get it done during that time. But if you are basically doing something else, so it can be stealing. So that's when I think when she mentioned about that, it made me realize, okay, it's something that it's a common thing, yeah, especially chatting with your friends or whatever. But it comes with consequence that I might not see it today, especially when we're working from home, like managers or leaders did not see what I was doing at my home. But at the end of the day, Allah is, I would say, the all-knower, all-seer. He's basically as-Sami' al-Basir. So at the end of the day, I might not see the consequence today, right now, in this world, but I might see it in the day of judgment, na'uzubillah, which is fair enough for my company, because I basically am stealing some of the time doing something I'm not supposed to do. So yeah,
that is a very big wake-up call for us, because I think that's something that all of us do, and we can kind of neglect that they are paying us for our time, and we're not doing our due diligence, even if it's as small as scrolling on our phone.
I think it's fair for us to make all the efforts that we have, to use our energy that we have right now to fulfill our duties in this world, and let Allah do the justice for us. We might sometimes make mistakes, but at that mistakes is for us to become better person in the end of the day. So never take lightly for the mistakes, but do what is right and leave the rest to Allah.
There is always a punishment for those who do wrong, and there's always a reward for those who do good.
It's a
And
double-sided coin.
I don't know how to explain this. He's just.
I think, people, us or society put so much faith in the criminal justice system, put so much faith in our courts, and we think that, we're doing all of our due diligence and do right. Lawyers go to school and the courts get paid so much, and, high profile cases get viewed very, very, very publicly, but we can't even come close to the justice of Allah, right? There are no loopholes. There are no ways that we can, circumvent His judgment, circumvent the punishment, circumvent the reward even. He's going to give us reward for every atom's worth of good, and also the punishment for every atom's worth of bad.
So I read this one hadith where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that Allah is so merciful that He is willing to hear out our excuses. Now, how can we say He is just if some of the bad things that we do, He actually do not apply justice to that because He pardons us?
Yes, exactly.
So how do we
Reconcile.
reconcile His justice with His mercy?
Oh, okay. So, this is, like, when I thought of this, this is so interesting, because when we are doing injustice to someone or something, we are taking away its right. When I backbite, for example, I take away the right of a person not to be backbitten against, and so they can claim their right to me on the Day of Judgment. Even a cat hitting another cat, right, for no reason, they can claim that on the Day of Judgment. Everything is going to be accounted for, and the things that are going to be forgiven are the things that we take away Allah's right. Allah has a right from us that we pray. Allah has a right over us that we fast. Allah has a right over us that we do our good deeds. But those are the things that He is merciful. He can waive away His rights. He's not going to take His had on us. He's not going to take His right upon us. Because if He took His right on us, we would fall very, very, very short, So He is just, but also merciful in that sense. And I guess we should be very wary about harming other people, because Allah will always forgive. Allah is the most merciful, but we can't guarantee that on the Day of Judgment other people are going to forgive us, because on the Day of Judgment everyone is for themselves, right? And Allah, being the supreme judge, supreme ruler, supreme court, He is going to give that person their right,
So we should treat other people with same compassion and same mercy as much as we can for the sake of Allah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some takeaways that you guys have from this?
To be as good as you can in this dunya, and not just good in general, but like you said, treat everyone with the most compassion, be as kind, be as forgiving as we are taught to be.
Question. So, Makadam said we have the right to claim our rights from others. Do you guys think you guys will try to claim your rights, like the people who oppress you?
Absolutely.
The people who, I would do so. Allah, this guy.
to get my ticket to Jannah.
On that day, the mother is going to run from her child. Like, everyone's
that's
for
Everyone's
themselves.
alone.
Yeah,
on that day.
everyone's for themselves.
Every man for themselves.
Every man for themselves. I think my biggest takeaway is not to belittle any good deed or even any bad deed, because you don't know the consequence of that. And Allah is not going to forget.
There's actually one hadith, I'm going to read it out, which is the Prophet ﷺ said, "Be merciful to others and you will receive mercy. Forgive others and Allah will forgive you."
How can we know for sure? Do you guys have any ideas?
How do you know Allah is just?
How do I fix this hair, bro? I don't know.
Yeah.
Done?